Right.
Okay, so on that note, episode 5.
Yes, episode 5. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too. Yeah. We have a guest who has cancelled on us previously, but thankfully he made it.
Yes. Yes, but before we start, I just wanted to know, like, why is it so busy during Saturdays and Sundays as well?
Oh man, it's not by choice.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that last time. Actually, I don't recall the reason. Oh yeah, actually I do. So typically I am off on Saturdays and Sundays, but my clients are not. So very rarely it happens that they call us on a meeting on Saturday. And even this Saturday was perchance, in a way, you can say, quite busy. I mean, I had meetings in the morning. Then I had to go to Abu Dhabi. Then I came back and I'm here.
This just shows our guests are hardworking.
Yes, but is it?
It's not every Saturday or Sunday.
No, yeah, but is this something which your industry or your vertical demands?
Sometimes. I mean, look, the good part about where I work in and what I do is that no one, especially in my organization, no one questions you on what time you're coming in, what time you're clocking out. It's all about the result, right? So if specifically, even if you're coming in at 1 p.m., no one's going to be questioning you, okay, why are you coming in this late? As long as things get done. And I know for a fact that I've been on sites for more than 12, 14 hours when things go wrong. And I've happened to come in late at office, much later than what I would have normally. And no one questions it because that's the culture they have, I would say, cultivated in a way where, you don't question, you give them the freedom, and people would have the conscience to do the hard work when it's needed.
Speaking about your vertical, I think the audience should know what you do.
Yes, of course.
I think
yes.
That's sort of in your first
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Saad, what is it that you do?
What is it that I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
In a professional sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I work in the renewable energy industry. I am a segment manager that particularly caters to the construction division, or the construction sector. How renewable energy and construction work together is joint with what we offer as a service in our company. So I work in a renewable energy company that started off in the UAE called Enerware. Basically, what we do and specialize in is temporary off-grid power for anything that is running on diesel generators. So we hybridize the solution. We offer, bring in our own equipment, hybridize the solution, and reduce the OPEX for our clients.
There are a lot of technical
Yeah.
jargon. I'm like,
I'm trying to dumb it down as much as possible.
That's all coming down. You're an ex-engineer. You should get that.
No, I studied, but yeah, I didn't even study it. I just passed the exams.
I mean, the whole idea behind this is to decarbonize the construction industry in one aspect of it, which is power, and to reduce the OPEX of providing power on construction.
Okay, so just to explain OPEX.
Operational expenditure.
Right.
Which would basically mean fuel cost of running a generator, and then generator cost itself, overheads of the maintenance team or logistics team, and then fuel logistics. So trying to reduce as much as that as possible, along with providing decarbonization.
So I'll dumb it down even further. So you're basically trying to save the world and, make more profits by saving costs.
Yeah, so absolutely. And on that note, with a commercial break.
On that note, because we don't have sponsors, we are happy to have ordered Karak from outside. Delay, it's part of.
Yeah.
You should get sponsored by these people.
Can you just point it at the camera? Yeah.
Please sponsor these fellows. They're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And they're my friends.
No, we don't know him. He's a professional guest. Anyways, we have had our chai break. We're back.
Yep.
Because our non-sponsored chai. Mr. Vishal.
Yes.
You should take the lead.
Yes. Okay. So Yes, I think we asked you some questions before the chai break, but this is how we actually start our podcast, by me asking you a question, which is, how are you feeling today?
How am I feeling today? Refreshed, a little bit sore. Gym restarting with our friend.
Okay.
So a little bit sore, but yeah, refreshed.
And refreshed because of?
Because I woke up on time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Normally, what I've noticed is if I tend to sleep until like maybe 11, then I'm a bit sluggish. And I mean, for me, it's like my brain is like a diesel engine. It takes a moment to start and get running.
Right.
So I need maybe like 30, 40 minutes to just get in the rhythm. So I think that happened early today. And yeah.
No, okay, because he's talking about sleeping on time and getting on time, I would like to add something more to this. So you said if you sleep by 11, right? So is that a late or early for you?
Oh, very early.
Very early.
Right, yes.
So if you sleep by 11, you tend to wake up early and you basically... Okay. Okay, because for me, I've been like, I want to sleep early, but it's more of like, I'm not able to sleep early, and I sleep around like 12 or 1 most of the times, even if I'm on bed. And then I end up waking up at like 7:30 or 8ish, because 8 o'clock is when my office starts. But do you think, question to you both as well, like it depends on people, like from people to people, like some people can sleep late and wake up late, and some people, if they like, they would feel fresh if they sleep early and wake up early.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'll begin.
Yeah,
If
go
you
ahead.
don't mind. So I think it's very dependent on people, right? I am more nocturnal. I feel more productive at night. In general, some people are early birds who thrive more during the daylight hours. So that, I think, plays a key role into your sleep cycle. But again, we humans are designed to adapt, and we are designed to be more productive in the morning. Some people tend to, because of habits, be more nocturnal, like me. But yeah, if you do get appropriate sleep, it does make a lot of difference, right? So the idea of what I see is that myself, or what I try to achieve, is to get as tired as possible by the time I'm reaching home or in bed, so that the brain just switches off.
Right.
And even if I've noticed that if I sleep on time, which is between 10 to 12, naturally I wake up between 6 to 7.
Right.
At the latest 7:30. Right. And if you do this consistently enough, you wouldn't need an alarm later on. It's difficult now because of the lifestyle we have. I think I speak for all of us here.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Because we tend to stay out later during the weekend, and it's not consistent, right?
Even if you don't stay out, I mean, post-COVID, me and Saad, you'll just find us on Call of Duty playing till like 4 a.m., even if you have work the next day.
It's fun times.
Yeah, bad decisions in the past, but
no, don't regret any of those. To be
I don't
honest.
regret it, but for me, speaking of productivity, like I realized that, like you said, like I'll come home tired and I'll sleep, and for me, if I go to bed tired, I'm gonna wake up tired. Unless like I can actually relax myself before that, I can't like wake up. If I wake up and I know for the previous night, okay, I was like calm, relaxed, I'll wake up the next morning productive. I'm like, okay, today I'll do something. Other than that, if I don't, and knowing that 5 people work on this thing which I don't like, I'm not gonna be productive at all. So I think, again, like you said, it depends person to person.
It depends on person.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I asked you this question, because I think a lot of people, they have this confusion or dilemma in their head, like, because you see a lot of motivation quotes on social media out there, and you see like, our parents or the generation before us, they were more of like early birds, wake up early and, finish up your work, which is not a wrong thing to say. But I guess everyone has their own clock. Biological clock is what we say. And that's why I asked you this question, because, people can relate to this and they could feel like, okay, we are not the only ones. Like, some people, yes, they do wake up late and like, end up sleeping up late, working late at night. And some people, yes, they have this practice of sleeping early and waking up early and then starting off their work.
I mean, if you think about it, right, all our lives since we started going to school, we have been programmed to wake up early, right?
Yep.
School, at least as far as I remember, used to start at around 7:20.
Yes, for me also same for me.
And it would finish by 1:20.
Same 2 maximum.
Yeah. So, and now thinking back, we did this for 10, 12 years, 13 years.
Right.
Why is it so that just 10 years later, we are like waking up or being at work at 9 or 9:30 or even 8 is a challenge,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's not like we haven't done it. We can do it, and we did it for 13 years. So why not now?
I think it's also like when you grow up, you have so many other responsibilities. But as a child, your biggest thing was homework, or I'm going to get beaten up by my parents, especially coming from a Desi family.
Cool.
You know, so, and you know, and I go think back, I'm like, okay, I can do 8 subjects, which are like an hour-long classes with 45 minutes of break. Why can't I do the same thing at work? But I'm starting later, starting at 9, like it's 2 hours later, but it's just that you have so much thing going on in your head before that. Apart from work, you're like, okay, maybe that's the thing, you know, holding you back. Not holding you back, but it's like,
Look, I mean, I think I think the amount of brain space that was being utilized is the same now.
Mhm.
It's just that instead of 8 to 10 different subjects, it's just different things, right? Now I need to think about what groceries I need to get to make food, or laundry, or cleaning my house, or getting the car fixed, or, you know, or have this thing planned with Zayan, for instance, and we need to go. Or paddle in the night, right? Or cricket or whatever. So I think it's just discipline that's needed, in my personal opinion. Because the human mind and body is capable of doing really extraordinary things, but you need to be disciplined enough to do them. And in the end, it is how badly you want it. Anything bad boils down to how badly you want it. If you do like think about it and you say this, I need this. Let's say you'd say by next year, I need to be like the topmost performer at my work, or be the section head or whatever. And you keep aiming at the target, and every day or every week, you're like, I need to do this. I need to do this. Eventually, you will subconsciously start working towards it. I mean, it's not a linear curve or exponential curve. It will be like a sine wave, or like, you know, sometimes even a flat line at the bottom, actually, not constant flat line, but it will. I think you would, unless some things that are not in your control.
And then that's how, like, your mind begins to get the command, like your goal, like, you know, this is his goal for end of next year, and it starts working in that way.
Yeah. So
consciously, subconsciously, it keeps
exactly. So you need to envision it every day. You know, I'm forgetting the word for it, but there's a very
just don't say manifest.
That's the word.
No, don't bring manifest for this conversation.
That's the word.
I'm like, somebody who's against this word, but
I mean, it's all about manifest or envision or think about goal orientation, whatever, right? It's all about implanting it in your head daily in a way where it becomes muscle memory, in a sense. That's all it. People call it manifest. Social media influencers and a lot of people misuse it. And yes, we do get tired of hearing it, but it is true. It is true.
Yeah, I think the word we should look at is more like perception of how you perceive things, because everything will have 2 sides. It depends how you look at it, negative side or the positive side.
True.
And like what you're saying, have that positive mindset. If you have that positive mindset, then everything goes accordingly. Or even if it doesn't, like you'll be like, you know what, maybe that happened for the good. But if you're looking from a negative standpoint, like, you know what, in my life nothing works, I can't do it, I'm giving up, and that failure mentality kicks in.
True.
So again, like, that perception matters a lot, and also your surroundings.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, like you said, if something fails, the positive mindset would be like, okay, I tried this route, it didn't work. Maybe let me approach it at a different angle.
Yeah.
So what it does is it allows you to keep moving forward, right? Or or basically try a lot of things before you exhaust all your opportunities or all your tries. I'm pretty sure if something didn't work, the next thing or the next thing after the next thing after work. I mean, if you look at the examples of Edison, who created the light bulb, right? It said that he had more than 1,000 different variations before he found the right one.
Right.
So, I mean, if that man stopped after like 100, we would be still sitting in the dark.
Yeah.
That's the example we need to take. 1,000 podcasts. Yeah, Pradeep. We won't stop until we do the 1,000.
I'm gonna start charging you guys.
Yeah, thanks. But thank you, Saad, for bringing in school into the conversation. Even though we were thinking how to, because it was there in our plan to discuss about your school life and everything, but you got it in the conversation. So let's start from there. So, like, how was it growing up in Saudi, and how was your school life?
I mean, growing up in Saudi back when I think when Saudi was a lot more different, it was great. I mean, it was that was life, you know.
What do you mean different?
It was different than what. Look, it's very difficult to explain.
It was more calm.
Calm is one aspect.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to explain to someone who's not lived in Saudi
Yes.
or a little more conservative place on how life used to be. And it was very slow, very calm, and being young and not being exposed to, let's suppose, what similar children who grew up here at that time were exposed to. You wouldn't know any better there, to be honest. Over here, Dubai, in a sense, is a melting pot, right?
Correct.
You meet so many different people of different
Right.
nationalities, social classes, experiences, that you have the amount of exposure you have there, you would have never fathomed to have over there, right? So things were very simple. Go to school, come back, eat, watch cartoons, go play out, come back, do homework, chill, relax with family, sleep. Mostly day in, day out, this was it. Unless you have, vacations, then things get a little bit out of, how would I say, timetable. But yeah, growing up in Saudi at that time, I think it was great. We were protected from a lot of things that we do take granted for here.
Yeah.
Life was very stable. A lot of what are the biggest challenges of a girl or a guy growing up, right? The vices that you have in life, right?
Yeah.
The access over there was nil. People would still find the access if they really, really, really wanted to, but it wasn't as easy as it would have been comparatively here, or for instance, back home in Pakistan or India.
I get you. It's more of a protected.
You still had
Yes.
you still had like a lot of moral and ethics built into you because of that, and I think that shapes a lot later on.
I think that's where the discipline aspect played like a vital role of how we grew up in Saudi. Like you and I both lived in Riyadh. I lived in Jeddah in starting, and like even school and our family structure was as such that, okay, like we know if this is wrong, we can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even if we do it, we know there will be consequences and we'll be scared. I think that's where the discipline aspect really came to play.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that, because we were not having access to these sort of things growing up, we were not able to get the taste very young. And when we did get the taste, or we would say that
Then you shifted to outside Saudi.
outside Saudi,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
where you would have the access to these things, you learn to not abuse it.
Yeah.
Right. That's the biggest thing. And when you're young, you're careless, you are, free spirited in a sense. You don't realize the consequences later on. So that was, I think, a key factor. Like when we do get an opportunity here or wherever, right? And if certain people do want to do certain things, they think because they are more responsible and more mature, it does play a big factor of them not abusing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I have a certain, I would say, observation until now about this subject, about, if you're not exposed to certain things when you're young, and mostly they are like the negative thoughts, and we can call them negative or vices. You call them vices, right? Yeah. Like not exposed to it when you're a kid or when you're young or when you're in your teens, and then all of a sudden you grow up and you move out of that environment, and then you suddenly come to this environment where like everything is like you have access to everything around you, right? If like what I've observed is people who come out from that environment to like a conservative environment to a non-conservative environment, a more advanced environment, they tend to lose their grip faster and get spoiled faster.
Right. I know. I see where you're going to.
Yes.
Where you're going towards.
Yes,
Okay.
but if someone who has already seen this, right, and for him the experience, or him or her, they have already experienced through different stages of their
Life.
childhood, from right when they were kids to teens and then this college and everything. And then even if they are coming out of that and moving out to somewhere else, whatever they're moving out, like they have that experience, and for them it's normal. Like,
so look, I mean, it depends, right? It entirely depends on, I would say, the person, on how long they're out of that environment, and I think these two are it. So typically, what I've seen is that yes, people do tend to abuse it, tend to lose control. Yes, but how many, right? If you look at it, and it depends also on the fact that how many of these people are out temporarily for a month, a week, or 2 weeks. What I've seen is that people who do go out from Saudi and go to other places, they go just ballistic because they know that they're only there for a very limited amount of time, and then they would have to return back. So they tend to justify it by saying that, look, let us enjoy. We will have to go back to a very conservative environment, so let us be, right? And then you have the second category, right, where people do abuse it, but then it is not a sustainable lifestyle, right? You abuse it once a week, maybe you go ballistic on it, and then the rest of the week you're not doing it. And then with age and time, maybe they stop doing it. You don't know. And then there are certain individuals who don't even touch it because they're like, no, we have lived without it for 18 years, 17 years, how many years they were back in Saudi. And they're like, why do we need to start now?
So this again depends on person to person.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, look, it's your personal choice, right? When I was going to uni, when I left, I remember very clearly my dad telling me, look, you are a grown man now. Your choices, or you're a master of your own choices. These are the exact words he told me. Like, there's going to be no oversight over you. And what you do will make you or break you. And that's it.
That was your Spider-Man moment.
That was my Spider-Man moment without tragedy.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I mean, look, it's all about person to person. I'm pretty sure that, I could have gone a very different route than what I am right now. And who knows how would I have been or where would I have been.
So for you, when you actually came to university here, was it the cultural shock? Were you like, okay, like coming from school in Saudi, which is like sometimes segregated, like you have it like, oh, and sometimes the female teachers, just female teacher, then like you're exposed to only your guy friends. You come to university here. What was your first thought? Like, okay, where am I?
So, look, when you're moving locations and completely shifting environments, right, that is the best time to reinvent yourself. And that's what I did. I'm like, look, I don't know anyone here.
Yeah.
No one knows me. It's time to reinvent. Like, there should be there should be, I would say, nothing that's stopping me from living the best of my life. Yeah. So up till I think in school, till the second grade, we were co-ed, and then third grade moving forward in the 12th, we were segregated. And then I'm like, why should this stop me from speaking to girls or interacting with female colleagues or female teachers or staff or whoever, right? And in Saudi, yes, you could get away with it because it's a very male-dominated society. Like, you would not, at least back then, you would not find many women in the workforce. But here, they're a very integrated part of society, right? You cannot go like, as soon as you go to graduate, oh, it's a female, I cannot go take my deal with her. No, of course not, right? So you have to readapt,
Hmm.
reinvent yourself. You have to overcome. So like, look, the learning curve, whenever you move out from even your parents' place, anywhere in the world, right? It's very steep and very, very, I would say, exponential. And it will always be that way. But it's all about how you look at it, how you adapt to it, and how you reinvent yourself. I'm pretty sure when either of you, let's say your journey in Dubai ends and you go wherever the world life takes you, it would be the best opportunity for you guys to restart in a sense. It's not gonna be like, okay, I ended here at 100, now I'll keep it at 100. No, we would try to go for 200, and how you do that would be readapting.
Yes. I never thought about it. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe if we move out of Dubai, because I completely remember one thing, that when I moved from India to here, I didn't change one bit of myself. And I think that was a mistake.
Why do you say that?
Because that time I was young, I was pretty young, and I didn't know what are the pros and cons. And you know how I used to interact with my colleagues in the workplace in India, I thought it's going to be the same over here in Dubai as well. And that's how I was also, like, like there was not a single bit of change for me, like when I was in India till here. Maybe I could have thought about all the, I would say the wrong things that I should have concluded it in a much better way, like, taking all the positives. And since I'm coming to the new city, just take all the positives with me, because I guess the way you interact with people, the way you communicate with people is also one important thing.
I mean, it's the most important. It sets the tone for all your interactions later on. And look, when no one knows you, and when anyone meets you for the first time, right? I mean, I cannot speak for the women, but for the men, it's more, or for me, I would say, I wouldn't even speak for the men. I would say for me, it's how the person, or what's the vibe, how he's communicating, how he is as a person, right? I don't care what he's wearing. I don't care if, about anything else. He can be driving the most expensive car, but if he doesn't have the decency or the mannerisms to speak to me as a human being, then that millions of dirhams worth of car is useless to you. I mean, you could have probably used it in educating yourself more about how to be a decent human being first, then think about getting all these luxuries.
Right. I think it's a learning curve, because yes, I realized my mistake way later. Way later, after I joined the new job over here. But then when I changed my job, I knew what to do that time. So I only took what I learned, like, whatever I learned, because I think it's related to how matured you are as well at that particular age. Because when I was shifting to my second job over here in Dubai, I was more mature. I was more older, and in terms of age. So I think that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I completely agree. Like, let's say they say learning never stops, and change should also never stop, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, take the positives, learn from the negatives, and move forward.
Yes.
And it's better late than never, right?
Yeah.
I think, like, speaking for your case, like for me, when you speak about maturity, I feel like it should also go both ways. It's like, if he's making a mistake, someone shouldn't be like, what? No, this is wrong. I'm not going to hang out with him. Right? No, go talk to him. Explain it. He's a guy who's kind of in an alienated environment coming from India. Talk to him and be like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're right. I think that is the key thing, which a lot of people don't do.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, look, speaking from experience, people do tend to take it in a negative way. And especially if they feel that, this guy is weird or something. Because no one wants to take the responsibility or be the bad guy to tell, for instance, you or Vishal or Zayan, like, Zayan, this is not how we do things here. Because it's a very difficult conversation to have. It's not easy. Communicate it in a way where you don't look like a. Sorry. That's my profanity.
It's fine. Yeah. More work for
producers.
More work for producers.
Sorry, Mr. Pratik. I do apologize. I'm used to it. Where you don't look like a bad guy, for instance, right? You get the point delivered and you don't hurt any sentiments. So that's the win-win-win scenario, where you would be like, you got the point across, you saved image, and you gave someone else to think about something different.
I think in your life.
Yeah, let's not go there. I think then Mr. Pratik will break something right now.
It's like, I think it's safe to say I'm the nicest person you all have ever met.
Yes, this is your tagline. I'm the nicest
No,
person
but I
you ever
guess
know.
people who stick with you from the beginning
Yeah, like me.
end up with you as well later on, because I remember when I first joined, when I first came to Dubai, I met Pratik. Pratik was the first person I met.
Oh, wow.
Actually, yeah.
It's
He's
surprising.
still here. Yeah.
It's
Still
amazing.
here with me in the same room recording this podcast.
Not out of choice.
This is surprisingly the first person I met in Dubai was also named Pratik.
Wow.
Different, I mean, not him for sure.
The right thing.
But he was also named Pratik. He was a senior in university, and yeah, one of the first people I met in uni.
Yeah, speaking about university, like, why Dubai? You could have gone anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I chose Dubai.
I mean, good question. So the location was supposed to be, like you said, anywhere else, and I did get into a couple of different places, but the decision ultimately was like, you cannot go that far because of my mom, simply, right?
Yeah.
She's like, look, go someplace which is closer. We can be there in an hour's time, 2 hours tops. And I'm like, look, I was like, I'm not going to argue because it's fine. It's fine. Like I personally would have wanted to go to a different location, right? Because why not, right? You're moving continents, for instance. But at that point of time, I'm like, look, you guys are paying my university fee.
Yeah.
I cannot say like, no, I want to go here. Even though the quality of education over here and over there would have been simple, more or less the same or better over there, I cannot say now. But still, like, just because of my mom or her wishes,
Yeah.
and her being more comfortable with it,
Yes.
I chose here. And the quality of education, I mean, for instance, Mr. Saad and I are from the same alma mater, right? I mean, it's a British degree or a British university that has a campus here, same degree, same syllabus, same everything. So yeah. So that's why I'm here. I mean, I don't regret it. Look, Dubai it's very multicultural, right?
Yeah.
People come from a lot of different places just to experience Dubai, and then us experiencing it for 4 years, relatively, I would say, without any oversight, having a lot of fun without a lot of responsibilities, graduating on time with the proper grades,
No loans. Yeah.
and then also not financially burdening our sponsors or our parents in that manner, and then getting to live here, right, with respectable employments. I think the decision that we took was great. And look, it's so safe here. Like, it's mad crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen people not even lock their homes when they're leaving. And
Oh yeah, I heard a recent story by the way.
I
Somebody
experienced-
not locking their door and just going out.
I don't do that.
Huh?
I'm living here for almost 9 years.
Yeah, I lock my doors.
Yeah, I mean, even though in Saudi normally don't think things like this don't happen or home invasions don't happen, we would still lock our doors because we're coming back from the Desi community.
Yeah.
We would lock. For me, for instance, I was traveling to Jordan. I keep telling these guys the story. Like, I was traveling to Jordan, and whenever I travel, things tend to get really hectic. And this was right after COVID. The restrictions were lifted, but just before the second wave, right, or during the second wave. And I was like, look, which country is going to take me right now? Jordan, it is. Just go.
Okay.
The flights were early morning, everything was, and it was on a Friday. It was very hectic. I took my luggage out, waiting for a cab and downstairs, and I thought I had locked the door. But in my absent-mindedness, I did not. And how I found out I did not, when I came back after 14 days. Yeah. So I remember giving away my cat to my friend for him to keep, coming home, packing up everything, and then leaving. And I thought in the middle, like, maybe my friend came to drop the cat or take something, for her. And that was not the case because I checked my cameras. I'm like, look, what? No, for 12 days, nothing. Right? And then I'm like, 12, 14 days later, I come in, I just turned the doorknob and it's open. I'm like, what the
language.
Apologies.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
I was really
Yeah.
surprised. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then when I came back, I didn't know that it was open for
Yeah.
this long. I checked everything. Everything was there. I checked the camera. And
Yeah.
every day, like fast forward, day, night, everything happens. The door's still closed. No one came in. And I'm like, okay, no one does these sort of things here. And
Mhm.
thankfully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because of the law, because of how it keeps like people on.
I think people specifically are so busy in this
Mm.
in this city, in this country,
Hmm.
that these
They
things
don't have-
don't even
yeah.
come into their
Yeah.
brain to let me just check the door handle, like if it's open or not.
Mhm.
No one actually cares.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the law, right? The law. I mean, I have not seen or heard any case
Yes.
of these things happening and what are the consequences.
Yeah.
So for me, at least, it's the gray area. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's more because people are so busy with their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, like no one would just go and check, like, if the door is open or not. But it can get tricky with people like me, because sometimes in my absent-mindedness, like instead of pressing on third floor, I press second floor or
Yeah.
fourth floor, and I'll tell you what happens. I end up on the second floor, and I come to the same house which is right below my house, and I start opening the door. And this has happened to me with like 4 or 5 times now. Now, if your house was right below my house and it was open, I would have just opened it and went inside, put all my luggage, and slept.
I mean, look, yeah, that is a case that can happen.
Yeah.
That has happened where people walk in and sometimes.
Yeah,
But thankfully, I'm at home.
yeah.
But with this other thing, which my defensive mechanism, that's what I like to say it is, that I keep it very disorganized. So when people walk in, they'll be like, that can't be my house. And if I close it back in, they're going to go out.
Anti-theft system right there.
It's cheap. It's free.
Just throw your clothes all on the floor.
Put the suitcase down, and,
This is not your home. Like, here I have a paper written, this is not your home.
I mean, the worst thing I have done in this regard, not entering someone else's home, but it was like I came home once very late and I parked in the wrong way. That's the most I would say I invaded anyone's personal space or their property instead of very vanilla thing, but yeah.
So I want to move on. Like, okay, you came to university here, you reinvented yourself, and you stayed. I mean, you came to Dubai because of your mom. So, parents' role in you choosing engineering, was there like a big role, or did you want to be someone else? I'm gonna ask you the same thing too. Like when it came to the educations.
Oh yeah,
What
you
happens?
can only
Yeah.
be a doctor, engineer, or a disappointment, right? That's
Yeah.
that's the three things in the
Desi culture, yeah.
the 3Ds of life.
Yeah.
Doctor, doctor, engineer, or disappointment. So look, it was so how I picked engineering was, I would say, motivated by because my father is also an engineer,
Right.
right? I was like, okay, this seems cool, interesting, and his life or his job was like, see him leave at 7 in the morning, or even actually 6 in the morning, and he's back by 3, right?
Okay.
And including commuting time, right?
Yeah.
So 7 to 2:30 was his working hours. I'm like, he's back by 3, 4. I'm like, great, this is amazing. Because of his working hours, he was able to give us time, or be with us when we were back home. He educated all of us in mathematics or physics or whatever, and spend time with family and everything. So I was like, okay, look, this is amazing. Why not? Why wouldn't I want this?
Yeah.
And then I was also inclined to take medicine on as a career. So what I did was I applied to both engineering and medical schools. The choice of engineering was limited to 2.
Okay. Where's that?
Electrical and mechanical.
Yeah.
I was like, engineering and management, but I was like, no. And because I was consulting him, because chemical engineering is like, I think back then in our university it was not offered.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, Dad, what about psychology? So he looks at me like, I mean, I think one of the key things that most Desi parents look at is employability after after graduation, is because we really understand that we don't come from a welfare state. The state is not going to look after you if you come back or if there's something goes wrong.
You're right.
So you're on your own. So you would want to make the best bang out of your buck in a manner of speaking for the money you invest in yourself. So then mechanical and electrical, my dad's like, look, both of these are evergreen. They're going to need mechanical engineers for life and electrical engineers for life. So pick one. And I applied for both. I got into mechanical engineering.
Yep.
And I did that as my undergrad. But one of the key figures when my dad was telling me about engineering, and I'm like, look, why not sustainable? Because I already had figured out what I need to do. By the time I was in the 10th grade, I'm like, world's going to have two problems. A is the energy problem, and B is the waste problem. We're going to keep increasing in population. We will need more energy, and we will create more waste. So you need to get into these industries so you are set for life. And then it was this, I came up to the conclusion that, okay, renewable energy is something that I would want to do in life or get into this sort of stream. Just because of the advice my dad gave me, I got into something that is evergreen. And then as soon as I graduated from undergrad, the idea was to go into a master's program immediately or relatively as quickly as possible into the renewable energy stream. And that's what I did. And that's where that's what my occupation is now.
He's a good listener. Like he obeys.
Look,
dad. It's not even obey. You listen to your dad,
and it made sense to him, I think.
Yes.
So look, I mean, yes, I do listen to my parents more back then than now, of course. Now you're a self-made man, big man, years old. Oh my God.
Because
you don't know anything. Anyway, so
play your dad's quote to him back and be like, this is what you told me. I'm a man of myself.
Yeah. I mean, look, so it did make sense what the way he explained it. Look, it's all about how you communicate, coming back to the point, right?
Right.
He's like, look, we're going to need these two specific fields besides a doctor, right? That the world would need. So let's start off with that. And then he's like, renewable, sustainable, whatever, right? We will do it as a specialization. It should not be your core because it will be very difficult for you otherwise. And I agree with him. Looking back now, I do agree with him that, look, because I mean, even for you as a civil engineer, right? You do in engineering in a specific field, like, everyone for the first 2 years studies everything.
Yes.
Right? So you
subjects are common.
Yeah, you have, I would say, 30 to 50, ranging between 30 to 50% knowledge of the other disciplines core. And then you specialize and
third and fourth year is
you wholly focus on your own thing, right?
Yeah.
So yes, that really mattered. If I had gone into renewable, I would have been just renewable, nothing about civil or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then yes, specialization in renewable energy really just, it's like, your core now. Mechanical, and this is what you're good at. So that did help, and yeah.
How did you listen to your dad?
And I'll tell you, I think one thing which I've recently realized is that no one knows you better than your parents.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right? And if I'm and I look back and I think about all the things my parents told me and I didn't listen to them. Because when I was applying for my college, my dad, and even in India, it's more of doctors or engineers. That's at least at my time, at my time. So, but my dad, he said to me one thing, and I clearly remember, why are you going for engineering? Take a non-engineering background, go for business.
Your dad said that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, told me, maybe choose something else, another stream. And yes, the market was really good for non-engineering streams as well because there were so many MNCs. There are so many MNCs in India, and you have so many all the non-engineering backgrounds, from marketing and business development and all of that.
Yeah.
So he's told me this, but I was like, no, you are a civil engineer. I'm going to be a civil engineer. And at that time, my dad was starting with his own firm. Construction firm. So I was like, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to manage whatever you have started. It was like, trust me, you don't have to learn civil engineering
to do that.
Yeah. Yes. And I still did not listen to him. And I was like, no, I'm going to go for civil engineering. And I went for civil engineering. And even there, when I was choosing, I got an admission in a college and I had to choose which stream I should go in. And he told either choose, and he was still suggesting either choose CSE or mechanical. Because I guess
Computer science.
computer science, IT, either that or I will go for mechanical. Or even like at the worst case, electricals, because electricals is a very hard subject, is what they say. It's a very tough subject comparatively to other streams.
So there's a reason why, sorry to cut you, because, electrical is all imaginary.
Yes,
electrons.
yes.
In mechanical civil, you see the things moving.
Yes.
Anyways, please continue.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so he's like, go for mechanical, because I think way down he knew that civil is a very, like, when you choose civil engineering as a subject, it's a very, like, even after completing the course, even after completing engineering, and even if you have done your masters, people do struggle at the starting of their careers. Yeah. For civil engineering, you have to start from
the bottom.
And
everyone does, but the bottom in civil engineering
is very low. Yeah, very tough. Yeah, it's very tough. And the struggle. And whereas he knew that maybe he knew, he wouldn't say it on my face, but he knew that I wouldn't be able to take that struggle. I guess so. And second year of my college, for my university, I realized that
that's not for you.
This stream is not for me.
Yeah.
I completely got, like, end of second year. I think second year, second term is where you start with your core subjects, like your core everything. And then I went for an internship, and like basically civil engineering, most of the internships are like you go to a construction site and you like start doing all the calculations and everything, like beam and all of that. So you won't believe, like, you have to stand in the sun, dust and everything. Because it's a construction site, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
cement and everything, and you have to stand there from morning 8 until evening 6. Like that's your routine.
Yeah, I've seen people who are fairly white or fair skinned come back and they're very tanned.
Yeah,
and you can tell that, look, what happened to you, man? they had black hair, they came
cement
white.
all over your hair, all of that. Yeah, it's tough. And I happened to interact with a lot of like these junior engineers, like, who have joined these firms and in the construction side, and I was asking them, like, how's your life and everything. Like, yes, they are doing it out of passion. They wanted to be in civil engineering. That's why they are there. Some of them, yes, they didn't have the option. Right. They chose it by mistake, and like, or
whatever they got selected in.
Yeah, whatever they got selected in, right? And they told me, like, you have to be here at morning 8, evening 6. You get paid. The salary was very low, but the accommodation is provided by the company. It's like a shared accommodation. And the food is provided by, like, if there's a mess, so the food is provided by the company and everything. And being from a very modern family and what do you call that word? Privileged.
Yeah.
Yes. When I heard about all of this, I was like, no way I'm going to lead this life.
Yeah. I mean, look, what happens is if the construction site is in the middle of forest, you have to go there.
You have to go there.
There's no.
You have to lose all your comfort and go there.
I mean, I don't recall which city you're from in India, but I mean, if a job site is there, great. You can stay at your parents and commute, eat better food or whatnot. But if you have to go to like the north of India and there's a
it's completely on the hills and there is no facilities or anything. Yes,
but if you didn't choose any other stream or think about like medicine maybe or business or
no, I was more of like when I decided that I don't want to continue with this. So the only strategy was, okay, I have to pass on my subjects, because if I go home now and tell my parents that
it's not for me,
they would have definitely given me an answer like my dad would have told me, like, I told you to choose another stream and you still went ahead with this. So I was like, I just shut up. I just completed like my all 4 years. But in the next 2 years, I was figuring out what to do. Because I knew that I didn't have to go. So like everything like GMAT, CAT, like we have this MBA exam called CAT. So I was trying to explore everything. But then at the end of 4th year, like one of my cousin's husband, he came out of nowhere. He was the savior, and he was in digital marketing.
Okay, amazing.
And he was working in a company. He said, like, our company is hiring interns.
Come.
Well, why don't you explore this?
Amazing.
And I went there, and that's how it started. So I was like, like you say, right? You are at the right place at the right time. Yeah, that was that moment for me.
Amazing. Amazing. Finally, right? Like, that was your Jesus moment.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you one more thing, right? So I had this, TCS, Tata Consultancy, right? So they are a very big firm, and they come to your university for interviews.
Yeah.
And basically it's more for IT and CSC, computer science background students. But they, because we have touched some of their subjects in first and second year, they let you hire the other streams as well. So even people from civil or mechanical can go for this interview. So I went there, and the first question he asked me was, "You're from civil background, and why did you want to come to this company? You're from civil engineering. Why do you want to join TCS? It's entirely like an IT company, right?" I told him I told him the whole story. And I told him I realized that this subject is not for me. And that person, you won't believe his reaction. I think he was in his mid-30s, and his face, from completely smiling to become completely sad. And I was like, that's a good thing that you realized at such a young age, because many of us don't realize what we want to do until it's too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's when you have the midlife crisis. You go buy Harley and ride around. No, I mean, look, it's great. Honestly, for you, you got into it because you were like, no, I'm going to do the opposite of what you were telling me.
Yes.
And then you realize it. I mean, for me, it was the same. Not the same. I did apply to medical schools right back in Pakistan, and I did get them. So to give you an idea, engineering starts September the year previous. Medicine in Pakistan starts in January the next year. And I did get him. And my dad's like, look, hey, this university is like, we accept your son, send him over. And my dad's like, you wanna go? And I'm like, we already finished the semester. Grades looking pretty good. Why should I leave? And I think that was the best decision of my life. Because now my younger sibling is starting to become a doctor or is in medicine. And I look at him and I'm like, alhamdulillah. Look, it's and even my friends for that matter. I finished masters. I'm in work. Poor guys are still graduating, right? 6, 7, 8 years of studies and still not being in, just beginning or beginning your career. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank God.